Hi, this is LB with the Dartmouth Student Wellness Center. This is day 7 and the last day of ReCentering, a 7-day yoga challenge. You did it. You made it to the end. Whatever it looked like for you, it takes great strength and courage to embark on something like this. Something that is all about taking time for yourself and for your own well-being. So with that said, we thought we would end with a class that really highlights your inner strength. So in today's class, we'll play with using that strength to help us calmly ride out some strong and intense sensations we might feel, and maybe even to fall with grace and playfulness as we come into some fun balance poses. So we hope you enjoy. See you on the mat. We'll start today's practice in a cross-legged seated position. So allow yourself to settle and begin to root down with your sitting bones so that you can begin to expand out through the core, out through the spine, out through the crown of your head. And as we're expanding in all of these directions, I want you to balance some of that expansion out with some grounding, with softening the tops of your shoulders, perhaps letting your eyelids close or just taking a soft downward gaze. And slowly begin to connect with your breathing. Perhaps lengthening your inhale by 3 to 4 seconds. And doing the same with your exhale. Allowing your mind to begin to settle within your body, within the sensations of your breath. Perhaps allowing this to bring a sense of calm, present awareness. And through intentional breathing and intentional paying attention, it's one way we tap into the strength within ourselves, particularly when times get hard. When we might get out of our center, it's helpful to come back to our center by breathing, by choosing what we pay attention to, and by being intentional with the thoughts and the words that we might tell ourselves. So if you'd like, you bring your hands in front of heart center. Always, I'll invite you to set an intention for your practice, and maybe it's related to coming back to your center or believing that your strength lies within. So your intention might sound something like, I will continue to come back to my center by breathing and by paying attention. Or it might be, I am strong and I am grounded. Whatever words feel meaningful to you. Repeat them silently to yourself here. And bowing your head towards that compassionate heart, linking the wisdom and the compassion. Releasing your hands, lifting your chin, opening your eyes if they're closed. I invite you to keep that deepening breath if you still have it, or to engage it now, and perhaps even coming into that ujjayi breath, where you breathe in and out through the nose with a slight constriction of the throat muscles, creating that whispery, ocean-like sound. And then inhale, getting length through the spine. Exhale, begin to walk your fingers out long, coming into a little forward fold and going only as low, where you keep the integrity of this open chest. So we don't want to round around our heart. We want to expand around that area and feel like we're growing our spine long out of the low back, hinging at the hips. And from there, letting the chest, the heart, lead the way towards the ground, letting the chin slightly be tucked in so the back of the neck is long. As you inhale, really allowing the breath to evolve this pose. And as we feel some sensation in our low back, maybe some strong sensation, just seeing if you can bring your awareness and bring a sense of curiosity to what that sensation feels like. Riding that sensation out rather than reacting to it in an unskillful way. One more breath here, inhaling and exhaling. And inhale, slowly walk your hands up and in. Bend your knees, place your feet in front of you. And I'll invite you to float your feet. It's about knee height. Hug your knees, your inner soles of your feet together. Coming into boat pose here. And here you could place your fingers underneath your knee creases. Draw your elbows down as you draw your heart towards your knees. Feeling some warmth in the core. Feeling some sensations rise, perhaps in the hips. Noticing what your thoughts are telling you. I hate this type of pose. I love this. Knowing what's skillful to help you stay here and pause and breathe and be present and kind to yourself. One more breath, inhale. And as you exhale, I invite you to cross the ankles in the opposite way as you originally had them and come back into that seated posture. We're going to come into a forward fold now with the opposite ankle in front of the ankle that we first had folded. And notice what's different about this forward fold. Notice how it might really intensify the different parts of our outer hips. Perhaps you don't go quite as low. Perhaps you go a little bit lower. Again, coming to breath, to center, to help you ride the wave of these sensations. Then inhale slowly to rise back up, bending the knees once again, coming on your sitting bones, this time floating the feet, hands underneath knee creases, heart towards knees, elbows hugged down. Option to stay right here, just like we were, or maybe you release your hands, lifting the heart up, calves parallel to the ground, jaw soften, breath deep. Tuning in with curiosity to the sensations that is building in your body here. Is it heat? Is it tingling? What are your thoughts, your attitudes right now? Taking one more breath, inhale. And as you exhale, cross your ankles, roll over onto hands and knees, coming into tabletop position. Knees underneath hips, wrists underneath shoulders, fingers spread out wide. And just flow through a few rounds of cat and cow at your own pace, swaying back and forth between this arch spine, where the shoulder blades spread away from one another, to the swayed spine, where the collarbones draw away from one another. Belly softens, arms stay straight and strong. Exhale into arch. Last round here. Inhale to sway forward. And exhale to arch. Inhale, coming back to that neutral spine, or maybe for the first time, even into tabletop. Root down with your left arm and inhale the right hand to the sky. Then exhale, thread the needle by diving the right arm underneath your left elbow. Place the outer side of your right arm to the ground. And with this left hand, this left elbow, create a 90-degree angle with that arm, letting that act as a little bit of a lever to draw the left shoulder back, drawing the right shoulder into the ground, squaring off the hips, breathing deeply. Twisting it out here. Then placing your left palm down right in front of your eyes and pressing through that unwind just the way you came in, drawing the right arm up to the sky. And then exhale, draw that right hand to your hip. Kickstand your left foot out off of your mat as you reach your right leg long behind you. Begin to Push your pelvis open, draw the shoulder blades on your back, extending the right arm to the sky. Option to lift that right leg also off the sky, expanding through the right fingertips, the right heel, drawing low belly in, left shoulder draws back. Noticing what sensations you feel here in that outer right hip, in the right shoulder, in the left side waist. Just bring curiosity. Staying here, breathing. Inhale. Nice. And as you exhale, drawing that right hand down, drawing the right knee in, placing the left foot back on the mat. One round of cat and cow belly breath here. Inhale to that neutral spine, rooting down with that right hand. Inhale the left arm up to the sky, and exhale, thread the needle on this side, placing the left arm all the way on the ground, arranging that right hand so it's about a foot away from your face, creating that 90-degree angle with your elbow and your shoulder, drawing the right shoulder back so it feels like the twist is really coming from the navel, letting the temple rest on the mat, and then squaring off the hips, softening where you can, where you don't need muscular action right now. And then placing the palm of your right hand down on the mat in front of your eyes, pressing through that arm. Inhale the left hand all the way to the sky. Exhale, draw that left hand to your hip. As you kickstand your right foot off the mat, reach your left foot back long, draw your hips forward, draw your heart forward, shoulders draw back. Gaze looks up. You could also look forward or even down if that would feel better. Then option to reach the left arm, the left leg to the sky, lifting that left foot even higher, drawing the pelvis forward to really open up the hips, open up the heart, becoming acutely aware of shakiness or where you might be playing with your balance. And seeing if you can just stay present and kind to whatever your experience is right now. One more breath, inhale. And as you exhale, let that left hand find the mat, the left knee find the mat, drawing the right foot back on the mat. Inhale and exhale, one cow belly breath. Inhale to that neutral spine, tucking your toes under if they're not already, and inhale your knees to floating table. Knees are just hovering above the ground about 2 inches, low belly drawing in, heart is melting, shoulders drawing back, neck is long. Riding the waves of sensation even here, what's happening in the thighs. Again, noticing as all experiences, there is a beginning. There is this middle area we're in now, and we know it will change as all things do. And so just giving yourself some patience, some breath, and words of encouragement. And as you're ready, draw the hips back towards the heels, ears come between biceps, head drops, knees staying floated. And then slowly begin to straighten the legs, walking the feet back, coming into downward facing dog. From here, it might feel nice to pedal the feet back and forth. And once you find your foundation, beginning to draw the armpits away from the floor as you reach the heart back towards the legs. Drop the head, gaze looking at your shins or ankles. Hips reaching towards the sky as heels are descending towards the floor. Biceps are spiraling towards one another. So strong shoulders, strong legs. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale, slowly float forward. Slow it down to a top of a plank. And just pausing here. Heating our bodies from the inside out. So shoulders are above the hips. Hips are above the heels, low belly drawing in. Taking one more breath, inhale. And exhale, lower halfway, pause. Lift your inner thighs, hug your elbows into your chest, and then press back up into plank. Beautiful. Inhale back, downward facing dog. One breath here, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward, and begin to make your way to the front of the mat, coming into forward fold. So feet are hip distance or more apart. Knees can be softened or bent quite a lot, especially for this first forward fold. And shoulders and head are just draping over the body. Taking one more breath here, really allowing the upper body to hang heavy. And inhale, slowly rise up halfway. And exhale to fold. And then heel toe your feet together to touching. Zip up the inner edges of your feet. Zip up the inner edges of your legs and begin to sit down like you're sitting in a low chair. Coming to Utkatasana, chair pose. Groins go deep. Low belly draws in, chest is open. And inhale, arms either in front of you or framing your ears. Sit low. Pressing down, particularly with the four corners of your feet. You might even lift and spread your toes. So weight's coming a little bit more into your heels. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhale, get length through the spine. Stay low. And exhale, begin to twist towards the left, drawing left hand on hip, right hand on left knee, making sure the knees are staying right next to each other. Begin to draw the shoulders away, twisting with your navel, letting your gaze look past that left shoulder. Nice, and inhale back through center. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, twist now to the right. Left hand on outer edge of right knee, right hand on right hip. Breathing through, finding your calm center, even when it gets tough, even when things are screaming at you. Maybe your mind, maybe your thoughts, maybe your attitude can be shifted slightly to let you be here, to be here with peace, noticing, knowing it will change in time. One more breath, inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Inhale back through center. Sit a little lower and then exhale, straighten the legs, fold forward. Beautiful job. Inhale the feet back to hip distance apart. Inhale, sweep up halfway. Exhale and fold. Inhale, press through the feet, rise all the way up. Follow your hands with your gaze and exhale, fold right back over. Inhale, sweep up, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back long, top of a push-up. Pause here for a moment. Option to bring knees to the ground, always a great option. From here, lower down halfway or less, and then pull your chest forward into upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale forward to that top of a push-up. Exhale, pivot on the outer edge of your right foot. Stack your feet and begin to inhale, left hand to left hip. Press down with that right hand to raise the hips. Option, if the balance is a little wonky here, to step over with your left foot. Always a great option to use 2 feet on the ground. Otherwise, stack the feet, stack the hips, stack the shoulder. And then begin to extend through that left arm as you lift the hips higher. Nice. Infusing this with breath, with compassion. It might look a little shaky. It might look a little wobbly. It might look a little different than I'm doing. Totally okay. Taking one more breath here. Inhale. And as you exhale, coming back to high plank, pausing here.
And inhale, shifting to the other side on the other edge of your left foot, either stepping your right foot over or stacking your feet, stacking your hips, stacking your shoulders, and peeling your arm up. Breathing here, modifying so you can still breathe, so you can still feel your center, so you can still be present. Taking one more breath here, inhale. And as you exhale, coming back to that high plank pose, exhaling all the air out. And inhaling, hips high to the sky and back, downward facing dog. Smooth out your breath. And then as you're ready, bend your knees, look forward, and begin to walk your feet to the front of the mat, coming to that forward fold. Inhale, swooping up halfway. Exhale and folding. Inhale, pressing through the feet, reaching all the way up, extended mountain. This time, keeping the arms lifted. We're going to find our peace fingers. So literally our two fingers pointing up in the sky. And from here, we're going to begin to bend and come into yoga toe lock fold. So we're going to take our two peace fingers, put them on the inner edge of our big toes, and then wrap our fingers around those big toes, place the thumb on top of the big toes, on the tip, and then begin to come into this deeper forward fold, letting the upper body just begin to fold forward into the legs. You can bend your knees here as much again as you might need, but just play with beginning to raise the sitting bones towards the sky, bending the elbows out to the side and drawing the chest towards the knees, the forehead towards the shins. Dropping the head, becoming aware of the sensations you feel, becoming aware of any tendencies to react in an unskillful way, and just play with what would be skillful here. Be skillful just to deepen my breath, to remind myself that this will change, to maybe bend my knees more, all different types of options. And inhale, slowly rise up and release the yoga toe lock on the left side and place the left hand onto your left hip. Stand strong in that left foot as you begin to lift the right heel off the ground. And then first envision yourself standing with the right foot into your hand. And after you see it, then begin to come up. Nice, drawing the right knee up, shoulders drop back, pressing down through the inner edge of that left foot. And then from here, release the yoga toe lock and draw your hand around the knee. Standing tall, flexing that right foot, and then beginning to open that right knee towards the right as your gaze begins to look out over your left shoulder. Maybe you even reach the left arm long. Noticing what's happening in the hips, if the left hip's drawing out, so you can draw it in, grow a little taller. And then bringing everything to center, knee moves in center. Exhaling both hands to hips, beginning to sit in that left leg as you cross the right ankle over the left knee, coming into a figure four chair. Drawing the arms out long, groins go deep. Option to stay right here, working on this deep hip opener and balance. Or if you have this space, you can dive your hands down to the mat. And I like to just center my back foot back slightly. And then hook this left foot around the left elbow. Create a little shelf with your shoulders for you to place the weight of your shin and body weight onto the back of those arms. And begin to draw that weight forward. Hug that left foot against your elbow. Look forward, and maybe you play with floating that left foot. Drawing it down I like to hop my foot up a little bit, and then we're meeting into that figure 4. And exhaling, hands to heart center, drawing that left leg straight, right knee comes up, shooting that right leg out long, warrior 3. Hands can be at prayer, they can come behind you, or even in front of you. Taking one more breath, inhale, and exhale. And inhale, slowly come all the way to stand. Exhaling to heart center. Make your way a little bit closer to the front of the mat if you've lost that. Exhaling all your air out. And inhaling, arms to the sky, coming into those peace fingers once again. Diving forward, hooking your fingers around your front 2 big toes once again. Making that lock with the thumb. Drawing the elbows open to create space for the chest and the head to begin to come into this deeper forward fold. Hips yearning towards the sky as the head is yearning towards your feet. Shoulders are drawing back down your back. Chest is open. Might be a lot of sensation you're working with here. That's okay. What do you need to do to come back to center, even when it's intense? The breath is a great home base. Inhale to slowly soften halfway up. Exhaling that right hand to your hip while keeping the left toe lock in place. Pressing down through that right foot, lifting that left heel, envisioning yourself standing, seeing it in your mind's eye, and then doing it. Standing all the way tall, drawing that left knee up, right inner edge of your foot pressing down. And then slowly release that left toe as you hug the left knee up and in. Reaching the right hip slightly over, squaring off the hips as you begin to open the left knee towards the left. Then draw the right hip back so the hips feel like they're opening like a book. Option to look out over your right shoulder, maybe even extend that right arm out long. Steady breath. Steady attitude. Steady presence. And as you're ready, draw everything back to center. Begin to bend in through that right knee as you hook that left ankle over. Diving the hips, the groins deep behind you as you reach your arms forward. Breathing here. Not getting too far ahead of yourself yet. So options, again, just to stay here. Work on the balance, the hip opener, the being present. Not needing to push past if it's past your edge. Otherwise, if you want to play is the operative word, you reach the hands to the ground. Again, I like to jump my foot back a little bit, give me more space, and then press my palms against the ground. Hug my left foot, around my right elbow. Create a little shelf with my elbows, and then begin to play with taking flight. You might just hover that foot for a second. You might find you can get some buoyancy. And then as you're ready, dropping down, hopping that foot back into space, meeting back into that figure 4. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhaling up with that leg, and then reaching back into warrior 3 on this side. Arm variations at your heart, by your side, or in front of you. Taking one more breath here, inhale. And exhale. And inhale up, straight legs, straight hands, reaching up. Beautiful work. Exhaling, hands down through heart center. Then heel toeing your feet out wide. And placing your feet on an angle. And slowly beginning to dive down into a squat posture. Diving your elbows, the inner edges of your legs. Hands to heart, letting the groins go deep here. Back of the neck is long. Nice. And we're going to play with one more arm balance pose for our last class. So beautiful option is just to, this is a pretty intense stretch, to really just let yourself be here and breathe. This is a beautiful option just to stay. Otherwise, we can play into coming into crow pose, which feels a little similar to that figure 4 arm balance we were just playing with. We place our hands down on the mat, about shoulder distance apart, and then walk both of our feet towards the middle of our mat. We're going to create that same shelf with the back of our arms and really hug our knees against our upper arms. So there's so many places to work on this. So this might be where you work and play, feeling some buoyancy in the hips, lifting up, feeling what it feels like to put weight on the back of your arms. To work there and stay and ride those sensations, ride those waves of sensations. If you want to try to take flight, you can come up a little higher on your toes. You want to keep looking forward and start tipping your weight forward. And maybe you lift one foot, put that down. The other foot, put that down. And maybe you play with, can I lift both feet? Hugging the arms, lifting the hips. Smiling, breathing. And then slowly coming down, meeting back into that squat posture. Bakasana. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and letting it out with an open mouth sigh. And then inhale your arms out in front of you and slowly begin to let the hips come to the floor, coming into that boat pose once again, lifting the heart, lifting the legs. Inhaling up, exhaling, soften. Inhale, right arm behind you, twisting, left arm in front of you. Exhale to center. Inhale, twist. Exhale to center. Inhale and twist. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more on each side. Last one, actually one more on the other side to even it out. Nice. Then hug your knees in. Get a little taller in the spine. And bringing hands beside you. Walking feet slightly up. Placing yourself on the middle of the mat. And just letting yourself gently onto the back. Placing your right ankle over your right knee, coming into reclined pigeon. You're ready, inhale the left foot off the ground, dive with the right hand in that little hole and interlace your fingers behind your left hamstring. Press out through that right knee as you let the shoulders remain soft. Smoothing out the breath. And slowly letting the left foot come to the ground, placing the outer edges of your triceps down on the floor, fingertips pointing to the sky. That left ankle is still crossed over your right ankle is still crossed over your left knee, right knee drawing away from you. Press down through the shoulders, the back of your arms, and lift the hips as you draw that right knee towards the ground. stretching out the abs, the hips. And slowly lowering down. Unhooking that ankle, hugging that right knee in, extending it to the sky as you interlace your fingers behind the right hamstring, pressing leg into hands, hands into leg, reaching up through the heel. Slowly bending that knee, letting your arms come beside you. And then crossing the left ankle over the right knee. Coming into reclined pigeon, interlacing your fingers behind that right hamstring as you flex both feet, draw that left knee slightly away from you. Release any unnecessary gripping or grasping. Breathing in through that outer left hip. Slowly releasing that right foot, drawing the back of your triceps down into the ground, fingers pointing up, and letting that right heel be comfortably close to your bum as you press through the upper back, through the back of your arms. Lift the hips, draw the left knee towards the ground, hugging the right knee towards the center, balancing out weight into both shoulders, lifting up a little bit higher with the hips, keeping the chin lifted away from the chest. Taking one more breath here. Inhale. And exhale to slowly lower down. Hug that left knee in. And then begin to extend that left leg to the sky, interlacing your fingers behind the left hamstring, pressing hamstring against hands, hands back against hamstring. And slowly bending the knee, letting the foot come down, letting the arms open by your side, and just letting your knees tick-tock from side to side. And then coming back through center, I mean to extend your left leg out long, followed by your right leg. And coming into Shavasana, final relaxation, letting go of all effort. It's allowing the waves of sensations to move in and through and out of your body, allowing the ground, the floor to do the majority of the work for you. Softening between your eyes, softening your jaw, allowing your arms to be limp and relaxed, fingers just naturally curled in, allowing a sense of heaviness to envelope your legs and your feet. Taking refuge in rest. As always, if you have some more minutes to just stay here, please do. And whenever it does feel complete for you, I want you to slowly make your way back to wakefulness by wiggling fingers and toes, stretching wrists and ankles, and maybe taking a full body stretch. And then when that feels ready and complete for you, just hugging your knees in and helping yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Placing hands at heart, if that would feel okay for you. And this time really recognizing the strength that resides in you. That calm is your center. Regardless of what's happening in the outer environment, we can always come back to our breath. We can come back to our values and to the qualities that we want to bring forward into our lives by bringing intention and awareness in. From my heart to yours, namaste.